That is a chess pie that I just made, and I'm gonna cut into it here in just a second. Chess pies are kind of popular in the South, especially Kentucky, Tennessee, and Virginia. Stick around with me, and I will show you how to make one of these easy and wonderful tasty pies.
Clearly invisible with map, where the best things live off the map. You might miss it with your eyes, but you'll feel it in your life. Clearly invisible with map, see the soul behind the stats. If you stay a little while, you'll start seeing through the smile.
Well, thanks so much for sticking with me. I am going to make a chess pie, probably my favorite pie, and it's one of the easiest things to make. Now, I did a little research to figure out where did this come from. Well, chess pie is very popular in the South, mostly in Kentucky, Tennessee, and Virginia. And what I found on the internet is it said that it's known as a poverty pie. So it's one of those things that if you have, how do I say this? It, you should have all your ingredients in your home already. You shouldn't have to go out and buy anything special to make it. That's why it's called a poverty pie. Now, my recipe that I'm going to make here today is a recipe that my mom gave me years and years ago. And I have the original piece of paper that I wrote, and it's got all kinds of stains on it. This is 20-something years ago when I was living in Las Vegas. I called mom and said, hey, Thanksgiving's coming up, and I'd like to make chess pie. So she gave me that recipe. Now, if you look up chess pie online, you'll see a variety of recipes. Some call for cornmeal, some call for even vinegar. Well, I don't have any of that, so I'm going to tell you what I will put in mine and just show you what I do. It's so easy and it's absolutely delicious. I could rename the pie type 2 diabetes pie. It is so sweet. And with a cup of coffee, mm-mm-mm. Now, I know I've mentioned this in some of my other videos about having celiac disease. I was diagnosed with that about 3 years ago. And if you don't know what that is, it's when your body attacks anything that has gluten in it. And you get inflammation. And if you don't stop eating gluten, you could develop certain types of cancer. It affects your stomach and your intestines and all that. So I had to give up gluten about 3 years ago, and it's still really hard because it makes it almost impossible to eat at restaurants. Because there's cross contamination. They can say that it's gluten free, but did it touch something that had gluten on it? Now, gluten can be found in wheat, barley, and rye. And I'm not lying, gluten is in almost every product when you go to the grocery store. It's in all sorts of things. So I've had to really change my diet over the years. And Linda even bought me special pans that we know when only gluten-free things are cooked in here, because the gluten can get stuck on pans and there's cross-contamination, blah, 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 blah. Well, anyway, pie crust. Gluten-free pie crusts are really hard to find. And if you do find one, they're probably not very good. So the thing about this here, I want to show you, and I think it's so special for what Linda did. There is a wonderful health food store here in Owensboro called Gene's Health Food Store, and they carry an awesome gluten-free crust. Well, we went there the other day, and they were out. The lady said that someone had come in and bought the last several of them. And I said, well, that person was a big old hog head. So anyway, Meyer had a box mix, gluten-free. I think it was King Arthur, that you make your own pie crust. And that's what Linda did. She made the pie crust for me last night. And I don't think it was that easy. I do have a confession. Well, that's not true. I've made one pie crust, homemade pie crust in my life, just once. I was making a pecan pie and I decided I wanted to do all homemade. It was good. It tasted very good. But to me, it was a lot of work. And I think the pie crust that you can buy at the store are just as good. That's my opinion. Okay, you may not agree with that, but that's okay. So I had to mention the celiac to show you this this pie crust. You will need a pie crust. Look at this. Linda made this last night, so I'm excited to see what this is going to taste like. So excited. Bless her soul. She's so sweet. Okay, so let me stop rambling and let me tell you what you're going to need. You're going to need a cup of sugar. Okay. Now, when I started baking cakes years and years ago and even sold several of them, and I think my cakes are absolutely delicious. But then I was diagnosed with celiac and it just took the fun out of eating cake. Now, I've made some decent gluten-free cakes, but they're just not the same. I will tell you this. When I was doing my baking, I had to have a scale. These things are less than 20 bucks on Amazon. You can get one at Walmart too. And I do all my measurements. I don't do it by cups. I know it's about 200 grams of sugar for a cup, and I think it's 110 grams of brown sugar for a half a cup of brown sugar. So I've got a lot of those things memorized. So I weigh everything. It just because baking is a science. Cooking, not so much, but baking is. If you get something off, you may throw your cake or muffins or whatever else off. So let me tell you what you're going to need. You will need a pie shell, okay? You will need a pie shell. Make your own or go buy one. You're going to need a stick of butter. Ooh, yummy, yummy, okay? I already said the sugar. You're going to need a cup of sugar, 1 cup of sugar, a half a cup of brown sugar, a tablespoon of flour. Now, this right here is gluten-free, King Arthur. You will need 3 eggs, and I've already beaten my eggs here, all ready to go. And you're going to need 1 teaspoon of vanilla flavoring. So pie shell, stick of butter, cup of sugar, half cup of brown sugar, a tablespoon of flour, 3 beaten eggs, and a teaspoon of vanilla flavoring. So let me show you this. This thing right here. Oh, and turn your oven on 375. Get that sucker heated up. This thing here used to have it had another one of these that was connected, and you could uh, grab things with it. Well, it broke off, but I decided to keep one side because I use it to mix all the time. It's a great little kind of like a whisk. Okay, first thing I'm going to do now. Back in the day when I first started making these, I would do all of this in a bowl, and I don't know, it just seemed very messy. I do everything in a saucepan now. Okay, I used to melt my butter in the microwave, and I prefer to melt it on the stove and then add all my ingredients. So let's uh, let's put let's put this butter here in this pan, and let's melt this butter. That's the first thing I'm going to do here. Okay, and I just realized this is the last stick of the butter. Today is Sunday, and we usually do Walmart pickup on Sunday. And I hope Linda added butter to the list. Let's turn our burner on. I have a gas stove. I do like gas stoves. And we're going to let this butter melt here. Now I'm going to check my camera and see if you can even see that. You can. Yeah, you can see that. If I can see it, then you can. That's for sure. Okay, the butter is melted. Okay, it's all melted. I love the smell of butter. While the butter was melting, I went and got the recipe from 20-something years ago with all the stains on it. Again, it says 3 eggs, 1 stick of butter, 1 cup of sugar, half a cup of brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of flour, 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Bake at 375 for about 45 minutes. Yeah. So as I was waiting for the butter to melt, I went back and I listened to what I had just said, and I said something about I didn't have vinegar or cornmeal. No, I do have cornmeal and I do have vinegar. I don't use that in my recipe. I should have stated it that way. But some do. Some put cornmeal in this. Some even add vinegar. But no, we do have vinegar. We do have cornmeal. I just don't put that in this recipe. This was not what my mom said, and this is the one that I've used for years. Now, since the butter is all melted and it's pretty warm, I don't add the eggs. You don't want to add your eggs to anything really hot because you might get scrambled eggs, and you don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add the sugar. So there's your cup of sugar and half a cup of brown sugar. And I'm just going to mix all that. You can go on and add your flour too. Doesn't really matter. Just add that. Okay. And I'm going to mix this really well. Just checking to see if you can even see that. Incorporate this nicely. Just get it all. Be sure the flour and the sugar gets kind of wet. Yeah, doesn't take much. All right. I think that's been incorporated fairly well. Okay. Now let's add our eggs. Here's our 3 cups. 3 eggs, okay. I add my 3 beaten eggs here. Get in there. Now it really becomes nice and golden brown and just really lovely. You don't have to mix it too long, really, either. So easy. Every chess pie I've made, it's just been wonderful. It turns out every time. Ooh, I may be jinxing myself. If it doesn't turn out this time, I'm going to blame it on Linda's pie shell. She and Eli are still asleep. And I thought I better do this now before they wake up because they're kind of loud. You think I'm loud? Linda and Eli, they're so funny. And Eli's playing VR in there and he'll be yelling and screaming. And Linda and her animals and going up and down the stairs. I try to do some of these videos before they wake up. They like staying up late. I don't really stay up too late. I'm an early riser, so I've been up since probably 5:30 this morning. All right, that's good enough, Matt. Now add your teaspoon of vanilla flavoring, pure vanilla extract. Let's be sure that's what that is. This is not a real teaspoon. I kind of add more vanilla than what it calls for. I love vanilla. There you go, buddy. All right. And let's mix that well in here. Ooh, I can smell that vanilla. That is just heavenly. Well, the snow's starting to melt. We may go to school tomorrow. We've been out of school for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And we have utilized 9 NTI days, non-traditional instructional days. So we'll see what happens. We were out and about yesterday and some of the roads were starting to get clear. Now, let me see here. See if you can see that pie shell. Yeah, you can. You know what? It's taken me longer to do this video. It took me longer to set up this angle than anything else. I swear, I just couldn't get it right. It's probably still not right, but I wanted to share this recipe. I love chess pie, okay? All right, I think it's mixed well. I'm going to pour this in this pie shell. Linda's pie shell that she made for me. Now, I will say this. Linda loves a chess pie. She sure does. So she will help me eat this. Well, that looks pretty good, actually. I'm not surprised, but I didn't know how full or how much this would fill up the pie shell, and it looks like it's going to be pretty dang good. I think we might have a little extra pie crust on the side there, but you know what? That's all right, because I like pie crust. Look at that. Okay. Yeah. So now we're going to open this oven here And we are going to put this in the oven. Again, that's 375, and I let it bake for about 40, 45 minutes, something like that. Okay. Okay, the pie should be done. It's been in the oven for about 45 minutes. And I know it's getting a little brown around the edge on the crust. Also, the interior is not jiggly. All right, it's pretty firm. So I'm gonna try to show you how I get this out. I don't know if I can do this. We'll see. All right, look at that. Ooh, that's one nice, beautiful looking pie there. Let's see here. Let's see here. Oh, can you do this with one hand without killing yourself? Ooh, yes, I can. All right, now, that's a little puffy at the top. You'll see it's kind of puffy, but in about 10-15 minutes, that will go flat. And then I'm gonna have me a piece with some coffee. Okay, here we go. I've cut me a piece. All right, now this pie crust, like I said, Linda made this, and it just kind of, it was really thick on the side, and it kind of just fell apart here, but that's okay. But looky here. This is what it looks like. It resembles what's inside a pecan pie, minus the pecans. Yeah, or pecan, if you say pecan. One time I decided to make a chess pie and decided to throw in pecans to see what it would taste like. And it did taste like a pecan pie, kind of. It was delicious. All right, let's try this with this crust. And it's still really warm. That's delicious. With a cup of coffee, I'm on the naughty list again. That is absolutely wonderful. I cannot wait to share this one with Linda when she gets up. I've already had my breakfast. I have. So here's dessert. Make you a chess pie, or a type 2 diabetes pie, whatever you want to call it. It's delicious. It's wonderful. This is my mom's recipe. It turns out every time. Just be sure you bake it for about 40, check on it around 40 minutes. And be sure it's firm. But I usually do 40, 45 minutes, and it turns out every time. And this crust actually is, oh, it just melts in your mouth. Oh my gosh, I can't get a piece here. It's just phenomenal. Look at that. Oh, Linda, you did well. Wonderful. Thanks for watching. Go make you a chess pie.
They ask me how I see the world, I smile and say, I listen close.